Now, I'm really confused because I thought he didn't do that badly. Like, some of the fans didn't like his style of football, but Dan Middleton, who used to be on the show, who's a big Leicester fan, I was talking to him recently, and I asked him, do you want Claude Puel to go? And he goes, no, I want him to stay. You know, he's okay. Not everyone agrees with his style of football, but we're still in like the top half of the table. Well, when we were talking anyway. But you know, it's the fact that
when did this conversation happen? Did it happen like 2 months ago?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
It sounded like a conversation that would happen 2 months ago.
No, because it was at the start of February. I remember it really well. But Philippa,
what, after they got knocked out in the FA Cup?
Yeah.
And he was fine with that.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
you were saying a few weeks ago when they were seventh, they're doing really well.
I thought he should have been sacked after the Wolves loss. Because,
really?
Yeah, because they absolutely blew that game.
But they gave it a good game though.
But it was 2 games after Newport, and they needed to make a statement. They'd lost against Watford, I think it was. That was at home, so arguably he could have been sacked after that game. And then to go to Wolves to lose in that manner. With the defensive frailties that they had.
But going to Wolves, when Wolves are playing really well this season, who in my eyes are the best of the rest at this moment in time, especially at Molineux, I do think that's a little bit harsh.
I don't think so, because of the results of the run that they had before that, getting knocked out to Newport in the FA Cup and not really looking like they could be going anywhere. Sure, they beat City and Chelsea in the league, but it's to me... It felt like two weeks too late.
You know what's really funny? I remember us talking during that FA Cup game against Newport, and you said to me you didn't understand why the fans wanted him sacked.
I didn't understand why he wanted him sacked, but now I do, because he seems to be too contrived into his ways in order to adapt, and that's what we see from Sarri at Chelsea, except on a bigger scale. But this is what we're seeing from Puel at Leicester, because you know he benched Vardy for the Tottenham game. He had to bring him on late, and you know Vardy missed the penalty and whatnot. But that was his decision.
Fault if you miss a penalty.
That was his decision to bench Vardy, because Vardy was fit to go. He should be starting every single week.
Did you just say Vardy missed a penalty?
Yeah, he missed a penalty.
See, that's when I always say, as I've said to Carl as he's still dying, you know, I don't think you can hold their hand when on the pitch when it comes to those opportunities.
But how much does it come into the player's discretion, and how much does it come to the manager's discretion when it comes to results then?
Well, I think
because you can't just say, oh, when a player performs badly, it's his fault.
But equally, you know, you said he wasn't, you know, willing to be flexible enough to change his ways. But actually, I think maybe that's coming from the other side. I think the players aren't willing to flex with him, and there needs to be some compromise.
And they showed that against Ranieri as well, which is my problem with Leicester.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where I'm coming from.
But this isn't a Leicester City problem. You must see this. This isn't.
No,
I
think this is a Leicester City problem.
No, it's not a Leicester City problem. Look at what Ranieri's doing at Fulham.
But isn't it funny though how...
Look what Puel did at Southampton.
But the problem I have with players...
This isn't a Leicester City problem.
Yeah, but my problem is with players.
How many managers do they want to try?
This is my problem with football. When there's a bad form going, they have to get sacked. And I think, hang on a minute, in any job, in any industry where things are going bad, you have to try and work together to go back up. This is my problem. There's no patience anymore.
Puel plays a style of football that isn't suited to the Premier League.
Well,
I think it's clear to see from his time.
He took Southampton to the League Cup final. And they played very well.
But they played badly in the league as a result.
Still lost, though.
I'm
not being funny, but in the grand scheme of things, unless it comes down to like points difference,
but for Southampton,
does anyone really care who comes second?
Put it this way: at Southampton, he was ousted out because they didn't like his style of football. At Leicester City, I think he's been ousted out because of the results.
So then why did they hire him?
Because they knew exactly what his style of football was going to be like.
You've got to know who that style of football is when you hire these people. That's what I don't get.
That's the problem. Now I can't address that because unfortunately I'm not on the Leicester City board. But you know, Leicester City have been Leicester City have been through
never
a lot.
Fail to disappoint us.
Leicester City have been through a lot this season, of course, with the death of their chairman and Vichai and all that.
But from that point of view, I think that's why he should have been given more time. I think actually they've had a really unprecedented season with everything that's gone on, and actually he hasn't been given that long. Okay, I get that his style of play is inflexible, but equally, I just think you write this season off and you should have given him a chance.
At the same time, when the chairman dies in a massive public accident, like, I don't want to seem glib about it, but isn't that something that, you kind of write off a couple of weeks for? Like, all right, we're not really going to do much.
I think that's what they did, though. With how Leicester City reacted to that situation, but with Puel, it's the history is behind him for these kind of decisions to go against him and for the clubs to fall out with him as a manager. He's had a lot of success in France. Arguably, he should probably go back there, and Leicester City should bring in someone that's going to be more adapted to the football club and to progress the football club to where it needs to be. Because simply put, since they won the league, they see themselves as a European side now every single season, whether it be the Europa League or the Champions League. I think that's a fair goal for them.
I think it's a fair goal, but they haven't really shown that since the Champions League when they got knocked out, and it was a great run. They obviously couldn't get past they got to the quarterfinals, I remember, but I just feel like after that I think the players had their expectations, and then
they got the quality in the squad though in order to do it.
Yeah, they have, but I just think they are, the players and the fans themselves are actually just raised their expectations too high now.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot what reality is like.
I don't think European football's too high of an expectation.
Look what happened to Blackburn Rovers. They won the Premier League in the 90s, and now they ended up in League
that was 20
One.
years ago, mate.
But it could still happen today. I think sometimes
That's 20 years ago. No. You're not understanding the concept of football business and money.
You can't say, oh, no, that was 20 years ago, and every time there's a World Cup, we have to hear people talking
you're not
about
understanding
66.
the concept. You're not understanding the concept of money in football and how much it's changed the whole landscape of it.
So if they're going to compete, you always say they've got to spend money, these clubs,
yes,
to compete higher. So why are they not spending any money?
They are spending money.
How much have they spent?
They've spent quite a lot of money.
They've bought players who have not proven anything. That's my problem.
Who are the players that they haven't brought in that haven't proven anything?
Well, go on, name one for me.
Well, I think Mahrez, for example, has gone on to Manchester City.
Yeah, but
Vardy's been linked with Arsenal. Kasper Schmeichel's been linked with Manchester United to fill in for De Gea. Should I go on?
Leicester won the Premier League without spending any money.
Ben Chilwell has been linked with Manchester United to fill in for Luke Shaw if he can't cut the job.
Yeah, fantastic. But what I find funny is Leicester won the Premier League without
Gray's
spending
been
any
touted
money.
as the next England talent.
Isn't that
Leicester
kind of like
Leicester Premier League without spending any
Leicester
money.
winning the Premier League without spending any money?
N'Golo Kante
isn't that kind of like Braun?
Yes,
winning
with the Formula
in
One, yeah, very much so,
when
yeah.
it was a Honda car,
yeah,
and and Honda's like, oh no, we don't want to be in it. That's the worst Japanese accent in the world. Oh no, we don't want to be in it anymore because we're never going to win anything. And then Ross Brawn's there like, with your car.
Actually, you know what's really funny about that? They never turned up in testing either. Williams, we'll talk about this later on, but maybe you never know, it might be a sign.
Oh. There's maybe Williams are playing it really cool and just being like, yeah, man, it's no problem.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's why I like to think.
Got it.
Let's hope so. But anyway, Philippa, your thoughts on it all, because we've heard a lot from Conor. You obviously, do you think opposite?
Yeah, I'm direct opposite, and actually, sorry, but.
There's always one.
I think, that's why I'm here.
It's usually Joe Stanley. I miss you, Joe.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree with her.
Yeah, good idea.
I know nothing about football. I just don't like your attitude.
I just when we mentioned this earlier, about the fact managers don't have a chance anymore. No one's in a job long enough necessarily to have a chance. And given the happenings before Christmas, and everyone, I think he should be given an extra bit of time. Everyone seems to be very quick to forget. They had two really good results. Was it Man City and was it Chelsea?
Chelsea as well.
Over the Christmas period, that was good going. And actually, I think managers do need more time. And I do think that shows that his system isn't terrible. And I just think there just needs to be a compromise amongst both the players and the manager. Well, there should have been. Obviously, it's too late now. And I do think the fans need to rein themselves in.
In all fairness, wasn't this exactly what we were saying about Mourinho? Like, we recorded an entire show where we were saying, give the guy a break, give him some time. And then, literally that night...
Those slightly different personalities,
Jose
though.
Mourinho's been sacked.
Don't get me started on Mourinho.